What's up, you sick motherfuckers? Welcome to another episode of Kaiju Chaos. I'm Mike Kruger, joined with producer Todd Loya.
What's up?
And Pugs Dread.
Namaste. What's up?
So tonight we'll be talking about the newly released Godzilla Singular Point anime that came out on Netflix. But before we get into that, starting with this week, we will be doing Kaiju shows bi-weekly, starting with Godzilla commentaries. So skip a week and you'll have a Godzilla commentary coming out. We did the 1950s King of the Monsters. And if you want to get a little preview of that, we already have a commentary out of the original 1963 King Kong versus Godzilla. So check that out, get a little preview of what's to come. So yeah, tonight we're going to be talking about Godzilla Singular Point. It came out, the season ended, I believe it was 3 weeks ago in Japan, and it recently got its American release about a week ago. So so far I've seen a lot of split reviews of this thing. I think it's has everybody split down the middle. I don't think it's going to be for everybody either. There's a lot. This is very different than anything really we've gotten before in Godzilla. We have gotten Godzilla anime trilogy before. Unfortunately, those films are fucking dog shit. I cannot stand any of them, and I'm really dreading once we get to the commentaries for those films, because it's going to be rough. But this was way different. They didn't take that same approach that they did on the anime trilogy. And let's just get right into the review of Godzilla Singular Point. So before I say anything, we're going to be talking open about spoilers. So if you haven't seen it, make sure you watch Singular Point before you check this out if you don't want to be spoiled on plot points and various things that happen throughout the series. So starting with me, I just got to say, these were the most interesting human characters I've seen in a Godzilla property in a while. The old man Pops was probably my favorite character. I loved how this crazy heroic man fucking controlling Jet Jaguar and determined to stop all the kaiju raging on the town. I loved him to death. He was by far the highlight when it came to the human characters for me. Yoon, though, the main character, I was definitely rooting for, and I really enjoyed, like, you know, how he would problem solve and get himself out of situations using, you know, just how smart he is and using different technology and softwares that he had created himself. Yoon, the girl who's we're seeing her side of the story throughout the series, is definitely rooting for her, and I loved how, you know, she was portrayed in the series, and her relationship with the AI Pillow 2. I thought they were, you know, really cool to watch them kind of go on this adventure together. And the thing I'll say is, like, there's computer AI that are very much characters in this story. Pillow 2 and I can't remember off the top of my head, but the one that Yoon ends up having control Jet Jaguar later on. I mean, they truly become their own characters, and I love that about them. Also, I'd like to highlight BB, who was one of, I guess, kind of in the middle of an antagonist and a protagonist at times. I loved his character and how it kind of played both sides of, you know, evil and good. And just the whole saga of him and Sarunga, the kaiju that he's trying to kill throughout the series, just watching them just basically try to get one up on each other and try to kill each other throughout the thing was great, especially towards the end when Sarunga comes really close to getting him. As far as the kaiju and the new kaiju we get and the redesigns, I love them both. The different versions of Rodan we get were all really cool. I liked how they went with more of like a traditional dinosaur design, and also just how the different variations differed. I mean, we got like a single crested one, a smaller double crested ones, and then eventually we had this giant fucking flaming one that was a homage to Fire Rodan, and I love that. I also loved all the different forms of Godzilla. Godzilla Aquatilus was the first thing we saw, which was more like the marine reptile design, kind of looked like the mosasaur from Jurassic Park, but it also had some really strong homages to the kaiju and terror of Mechagodzilla, Titanosaurus. It was very much kind of like a homage to that character, and that's kind of what Godzilla's first three forms are. His second form was a homage. His second form, called Godzilla Amphibious, was a homage to the Varan kaiju that we see, and the one after that was a homage. Godzilla Terrestrius was a homage to Gorosaurus. So I really liked how they, called back to other characters throughout the series of Godzilla. And also the final form of Godzilla, Godzilla Ultima. I gotta say, it's one of my favorite redesigns ever. I just love the Japanese Oni inspiration in its design, and his atomic breath sequences were fucking amazing and just the highlight of the whole series for me.
The rings coming out were pretty fucking cool.
Yeah, and that's actually a homage to Manila, especially when he's in like his Godzilla Terrestrius stage, where he's not fully formed. He's shooting out smoke rings like Manila from Son of Godzilla. Yeah. So that was an awesome little homage.
Fun fact, real quick. Yeah, that's what made me want to blow smoke rings as a kid. I used to make my dad do it just so I could see the smoke.
Right. I also loved the redesign for Anguirus and how like her power, she's a girl in this one, by the way, she could slow down time to predict like the future. So when somebody was shooting her, like her fucking little spines on her back would start moving, and then she would end up like ricocheting bullets and stuff. That was really dope. And also the new kaiju we get, Salunga, who I've already brought up, or Sarunga. He was like a mixture of Gabra from Godzilla's Revenge, or All Monsters Out Attack, and Baragon. And I liked how those two kaiju got blended in to make something different. And also the bug-like kaijus that we get, they're a mixture of Megalon, Kumonga, and Kamacuras. And the fact that they're being controlled by a parasitic blob that literally looks like Hedorah, the smog monster. I mean, that was just an awesome way of blending all of those Godzilla kaiju into something different. I've seen that stuff, though, as a major criticism for a lot of people with those decisions. A lot of people really wish that they would have brought back the old kaiju rather than making new ones, or, making them just a form of Godzilla. But for me, I honestly prefer the route they went with. I thought it was a good homage of having those kaiju still in while having something super different. As far as the story, just, we start out with Yoon and Habaru investigating this haunting song, like kind of like, a paranormal investigation. The fact that they're like a robotics company, but they have a side gig as paranormal investigation, that's fucking great. And then, when Rodan finally arrives and we get down to Jet Jaguar and Rodan battling, by then I was in love. Honestly, with this fucking series, at that moment, it just, fucking old man talking shit to Rodan while he's getting his ass kicked. It just, I love that. And then you find out like all this stuff is foretold in a folk tale of like the town, and this shit may have happened before. And, we end up finding out it happened before, and everybody forgot about it because of the war. And that's just so awesome. And also, just watching Jet Jaguar just hunt down all these fucking Rodans and all these fucking, I think they're called Hananga, the bug-like kaiju. Just watching him pretty much play exterminator and chop these motherfuckers up to bits. I mean, in very gory detail too. Very surprised how many kaiju we see get split in half and their heads chopped off and bleed all over the fucking place. I love that. And Jaguar's, all his kaiju fights in this were great. And while that's happening, we get to see Godzilla slowly evolve from various forms of himself, which, like I said, it's an homage to Shin Godzilla. And like, I just loved how different each form was. Like, I remember in like his second form, when the military is shooting off missiles and stuff at him, he basically like starts spitting out gasoline, and it causes a giant explosion to take out like everything for a couple miles radius. Stuff like that would just like blew my mind. And I love the way they handled the ending. Like they really had you anticipating, I think, a couple of episodes waiting for something to happen. And what we got, I was very, very pleasantly surprised with. And just seeing the way they tied everything together, where we find out that the professor who found out about the singular point originally had predicted that Jet Jaguar was going to be the key to stop the catastrophe. So that's why he put Jet Jaguar as the code to set off the oxygen or the orthogonal diagonalizer, which was the big bomb that he ends up setting off. Yeah, which was the big bomb he set off to become, as tall as Godzilla and battle him in the final sequence. And just some of the visuals we got too, like there was a couple of wide shots they did of like Godzilla and like seeing the whole city just completely torn up, and Godzilla and Jet Jaguar having a face off, and Jet Jaguar holding his mouth open, and just that final shot of him with half of his face fucking blown off and just saying, "Thank you, Yoon, you saved, you basically saved the world." And then boom, everything fucking goes into this giant crystalline mess across the town, and you don't know if Godzilla's dead or not. We have no clue what the fuck is going on, and they left the ending open for hopefully a second season. And
with that stinger at the end, I hope.
Yeah. I mean, them bringing the whole subplot with why the bones are getting taken away, and then you find out it's to make fucking Mechagodzilla. Like Mechagodzilla versus this Godzilla Ultima is going to be the fucking craziest shit ever. I have such high hopes in that fight, and just the way Mechagodzilla looks too. It's like it looks like the 70s one, which is mostly everybody's favorite design.
It reminded me of the Green Ranger's Dragon Zord. So right there.
Yeah. So just overall, this is going to go down as probably one of my favorite things Toho has ever done with Godzilla, to be honest with you. It's definitely my favorite thing Godzilla since Shin Godzilla. I'm sorry to say this, but I take this over all the MonsterVerse stuff we got. I have full confidence in that. I had more fun watching this series than I have had watching the whole MonsterVerse. And I do like the MonsterVerse a lot, but that's just how much I loved Godzilla Singular Point. And I think it's, I think it's not going to be for everybody if you're expecting big, dumb kaiju fights. And it's not just that. It goes much more into the science fiction realms. Much
heavily into that.
Yeah, like big time. And for me, though, I fucking adored it. And I can't wait to see more from this universe that we're going to get. I think now that everything has been, explained, I hope if they go on to do a second season, it's more action than what we got in this season, because I think that's going to be what's going to stray away a lot of people. But I really hope, and I hope that they rewrite that wrong in season 2. But for me, I adored this thing. What about you guys?
Fucking A. You want to go first? You want me to go, Todd?
Go for it.
Okay. I don't love it as much as you. Because there was moments where I'm like, they're taking their sweet ass time. I think this would have been a solid 8 episodes instead of 13 for me. Because I wasn't really invested into the character.
Can I ask you something?
Characters. Yeah.
Because you kind of binged it too. I wonder if watching it weekly.
I think that's the way to go.
Well, I think it would have helped.
I will say though, I watched it weekly with the Japanese release, and then today I watched the dub all the way through, all 4.5 hours, and I think I even like it better the second time.
But you already absorbed it week by week, so it's kind of
that, and how long it actually takes to get Godzilla there. That I'm like, that's going to be tough for people, because it was tough for me, and I shat on 2014 for doing the same thing, but they didn't have this cool ass song that kept me in every time. That opening song, fucking marvelous. That honestly kept me going, because after the first episode, I was like, I don't have to fucking watch this right now. And then the song started. All right, I'll stick it out. It did that a couple of times for me. I do like the animation, like when they go from the regular anime to this 3D type thing to show the transition of dimensions, or I forgot what they are exactly. That was cool. Jet Jaguar is awesome. But I was ready to throw in the towel at the end. I was like, oh, that was good. I'm good if they leave it here. And then these fucking cocksuckers had to go and throw in Mechagodzilla. I was like, all right, I'll come back because like I liked it enough. I didn't love it, and I do see like how people will be like, oh, this is crap. I'm gonna check out and not come back. I do think it's worth sticking it out because you might like it. I like it. And I'm going to come back for the second season if they do have it. So, and that's because I really want to see that fight. I will say I do like the MonsterVerse better than this, but I do want the big dumb fights. I like that shit.
All right. Well, I'm the old one, and I'll go with this. I'm closer to Pugs, but I don't know. I did enjoy it. I'm not a huge anime guy. I'm going to say that right up front. There wasn't enough tentacles. No, I'm just. But no, I'm not. So it took me a minute to get used to it. Like I don't hate it. It's just not something I watch regularly. And I did like the redesigns of the character. And while I'm about to get suplexed, like my name was Dan, I'm not a huge Shin Godzilla guy. I enjoy it, but it's not one of my favorites. Yeah. So I don't know if that's like the changing looks. I don't know. I still am a guy in a suit guy. That's what I like.
No, and that's fair, dude. Like honestly, there's a lot of people that don't like Shin Godzilla for the sheer fact that it's CGI it's the first CGI, or Japanese Godzilla. So but like I said, I don't hate it. But this kind of felt like a combined like both of our worlds. Yeah, and to make like kind of a mishmash of them, and I wish I would have watched it weekly.
Same. I think the weekly thing's a big deal because they are asking a lot of us, and they're also giving us like a lot to process at the same time.
Yeah, it's one you should absorb, and I think Kruger did right.
Yeah, and that's honestly like when the episodes were ending, I was like, dude, I can't fucking wait another week. Like, it's driving me crazy to the point where I go back and rewatch the episodes to make sure I absorbed everything. And like, I was like a crackhead. I needed my fucking fix. Yeah. But yeah, I do understand where you guys are coming from. And I think that's how a wide majority of people are going to see it. You got anything else?
Yeah, I did also bust one for Mechagodzilla too.
Yeah,
I was like, okay,
dude,
I want
the
more.
Design, like with the bone, like with the bones and shit. I mean, they're basically taking what they did with Type 3 Kiryu in Godzilla against Mechagodzilla and Tokyo SOS. Kiryu is made from the first Godzilla's skeleton, so that's exactly what they're doing here. Yeah. Did you guys sit and watch any of the post-credit scenes? Just like when the credits were going at the end, and they were like the homages to everything.
Yeah.
So the credits rolled.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
The last one was super dope.
Yeah. So like all that stuff. I from what I hear, there was like these leaks that came out a while back, and some stuff hasn't added up. But the one thing I've heard is that all that shit at the end may be foretelling what's going to happen in the future. So if that's the fucking case, all that shit at the end is like different stuff from different universes of Godzilla. So this may be we may be at a point where multiverses are going to fucking collide, and we're going to get like stuff like maybe Heisei Godzilla going up against Godzilla Ultima, or fucking, Jet Jaguar from the 70s fighting, again alongside New Jet Jaguar. Like, there's so many possibilities if they go with that. I don't know if they will, but regardless of anything, I'm so in for a second fucking season. And just I love this, man. Like, it was I like I said, I understand why everybody doesn't, but like by the end, like when just Jet Jaguar's in the spotlight and you find out he was and like you kind of knew when you put two and two together that he was going to be the hero, he was going to be the savior of everything. But throughout the series, they kept referencing, we have the answer right in front of us, we just don't know what it is yet. And for it to be Jet Jaguar and the fucking orthogonal diagonalizer fucking combined is what's going to stop the catastrophe of Godzilla Ultima. I thought the way that fucking all swooped in together was awesome. And just the final thing, like Godzilla Ultima is just, he's a fucking beast, and I can't wait to see more shit fight him. Like that was the one thing I would have did differently is I would have had Godzilla Ultima at least have, like, you know, a longer fight maybe when because like he fought, like Manda wrapped around him for like a second, and then he just cut that motherfucker's head off like he wasn't shit. I would have liked to see Godzilla maybe go up against more, but I mean, hopefully that's what season 2 is all about. I really think that, you know, a season 2, they could bring people back and get them more into this if they understand that, like, all right, we already explained all the fucking science shit. We don't need to explain all this fucking science shit for another like 5 episodes. Let's get right into the fucking action. Let's have season 2 be, you know, fast paced, and let's make everybody want to come back. That's what I hope they do for season 2.
Yeah.
I mean, for that. Yeah, go ahead.
Oh no, I was going to say I had a question for Kruger.
Yep.
Okay, which is the way, or does it matter which way to watch it? In the original subtitled or English dub?
So for me,
what do you think?
Okay, so for me, I watched when I was watching it weekly, it was all subbed, and that, like, it's different in tone. I think, like, it seems more kiddie with the English dub, to be honest with you. Like, in the Japanese dub, like, they threw a couple of F-bombs and shit. They're like, you know, like, fuck, and, you know, so it seemed maybe a little bit more serious, especially with, like, the way the voice acting is on the dub. That being said, though, the dub isn't bad, and I think, like, some of the science stuff is easier to understand when you're hearing it in your native language. Because I think some of that stuff does get lost in translation. For me, I say in order to understand things better, go with the dubbed. But if you like it enough, go watch it with the sub and compare the two. But I think just for the, you know, general audience, you're going to want to go with the dub to understand more. Because, like I said, it's very different with stuff gets lost in translation. It makes it harder to understand, and you miss a lot too.
Yeah.
But you know what? Fucking, why don't we rate it then as a series?
What?
Yeah, I mean, it's a given. It's a 5 out of 5 for me.
I was gonna say you liked it more than Monsterverse. It has to be a fucking 5.
Yeah.
Kruger, Kruger Pugs.
For me, I'm going back and forth between a 3.5 and a 4 because, like, they did take their sweet ass time to telling this story. I'm gonna go 4 though, just because I like Godzilla and all the properties, and everything it brings. Like, and I see the potential there for season 2 with fucking Mecha Godzilla. Let's do this. I'm ready, and more of that fucking song. I cannot stress enough. That opening theme is great. It reminds me of, like, Sailor Moon.
And the updated theme they did too, like when Godzilla's fucking, like, you know, about to destroy Tokyo, and you, like, as soon as he opens your mouth, you start hearing, like, these ritualistic chants over the, you know, I can't think of the dude's fucking name. Excuse me, terrible Godzilla fan for not fucking remembering the theme. But okay. Just the ho 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 ho, and fucking Godzilla's about to destroy it. I'm like, dude, I'm like trying not to fucking cry. I'm like, I'm gonna hold it in, but fucking, and like, oh, that whole scene was just that's straight out of Shin Godzilla too. Which again is my favorite. Other than 54, it's my favorite Godzilla movie. So, yeah. Other than that, wait, Todd, you need to rate it.
Oh yeah, I was hoping to get out of this one. No, I was going back and forth too between the 3.5 and a 4 also. But honestly, I think I'm only pushing for the 4 for
Mecha Godzilla.
Yeah, so I'm going to stick with the 3.5 on this one.
That's fair. Other than just your typical Godzilla news, there is actually something I'd like to bring up because something pretty big got announced. This would be yesterday. SRS Cinema is getting the rights to 2 different kaiju films. Todd, I sent you the picture if you can pull it up.
Oh, that what I heard.
Yeah, so they're getting the rights to two kaiju films that are recently made their way through the film circuit. One is The Great Buddha Arrival, which I'm sure my buddy ET will correct me on this, but The Great Buddha Arrival was there was a movie called The Great Buddha. I believe it was back in the 40s that was lost, and it was about just this giant Buddha statue that was appearing and traveling its way through a city. This, I believe, is either a remake or a direct sequel to that film of that lost movie. So SRS Cinema has the rights to that, so there will be a Blu-ray and DVD release of that, and they also got the rights.
So that big ass statue moves?
Yep.
It's not a statue?
Yep.
I mean,
it's a statue. Yeah, so and that was on it, and like if I remember this correctly, the Great Buddha film that was lost was actually Japanese, is technically the first kaiju film. Could be wrong on that, but that's what I remember hearing. And then the other film they're getting is Nezera 1964, which I'm not 100% sure if it's a remake or a telling of the production of making this film in 1964, which was a film about a bunch of giant rats. I believe it never made its way like into the theaters or anything. Like it never got finished. It was an unfinished film. So this is either a remake of that or it's about the production of making it. All I know is that giant motherfucking rat monster thing is supposed to appear at some point in it, so I'm fucking in. And I just really cool that SRS Cinema is getting more of these obscure kaiju titles. We really enjoyed Howl from Beyond the Fog that they put out last year, and I'm just glad that we're getting more of this independent kaiju films, and hopefully they get the rights to Brush of the God, which is coming out soon. I think I've showed you guys some clips of it. Big Yamato no Orichi fucking dragon monster. So I hope they get the rights to that. But yeah, so definitely check out SRS Cinema for all of that stuff coming up. And they have already a wide variety of tokusatsu films on there. So check those out and, you know, get ready for the new kaiju stuff. I'm so glad that we're getting more of this independent stuff. It's not really that often you see a lot of that. And now that Godzilla, that's the one thing I'll say about Godzilla versus Kong. I hope it inspires more people on the independent circuit to start making their own kaiju films.
Unless they're like Monster vs. Ape.
Right. Or fucking Ape versus Monsters.
Yeah, that's what it was. Ape.
Yeah, fucking yeah. We won't talk about that piece of shit more than we have to, though, because like, don't watch Ape versus Monsters. It's terrible. Don't even entertain the fact.
I didn't hate it.
But of quality independent kaiju films, hopefully we get more of those. Like I said, Howl from Beyond the Fog kind of is my golden standard.
Hard to beat that now.
Yeah, no, for sure. So it'll be good to check out these two other ones from SRS Cinema. I'm sure when the Blu-ray comes out, we'll cover it. So other than that, go watch Godzilla Singular Point. It's streaming on Netflix. Yeah, on Netflix. So 13 episodes. You could get through the whole thing in like 4.5 hours. And I think it's highly worth it. Just even if you aren't like, you don't know that much about the older Godzilla films, I think this may be a cool way to, see some homages to history down the line. Maybe it'll have more people want to check out those films with, characters like Titanosaurus and Varan. So I hope it does that for the newer audience. But yeah, so that's really, I think, all we got for this one. Make sure to like, share, subscribe. We're on Patreon, patreon.com/fleshwoundfeatures. It starts at just $1. You can see all types of exclusive content there. This Saturday, a commentary of one of my own matches is going to be up, one of my worst matches. So go pay $1 and enjoy my pain with me. And other than that, we're on all the social medias. We're also on Discord, so come join our community, interact with us. I'm always on there. And yeah, so
We pop in.
Dan's on there a lot more than I figured. Every time I go and he's I'll get there. I pop in what I remember.
No. So yeah, interact with us. You know, we got all types of stuff on Discord. New news. You can request stuff from us. Ask us questions.
I thought you said no nudes.
Well, I mean,
no Dan nudes.
Yeah, no Dan nudes. But if you ladies want to put some out, go ahead. So other than that, why don't we get out of here, guys? Stay sick, motherfuckers.
Todd,
I don't have it out without Heil Shine. That doesn't make sense.
That still works. And I'll see you in Disneyland.